The man who holds the true power in any gathering is rarely the one announcing it. He is not the one laughing the loudest, nor the one posturing for attention. He is the one you instinctively know not to interrupt. Somewhere along the line, you lost the ability to be that man. You were socialized to be palatable, to be accommodating, to fold yourself into boxes that others found convenient. You were taught that being harmless was the same as being virtuous, that turning the other cheek was the only path to nobility, and that if you were quiet enough, the world would reward you. But look at the reality. Look at who shapes the world. It is not the harmless. It is not the apologetic. It is those who carry a quiet, vibrating capacity for devastation, a frequency that hums, "Do not tread on me." That specific quality, that heavy, gravitational, unsettling quality, is what defines being dangerous. Not malicious, not belligerent, not loud, dangerous. And in our modern era of curated fragility, enforced mediocrity, and conflict avoidance, you have been surgically gelded. You have been led to believe that danger is a relic of a barbarous past, that it has no utility in a civilized age. But here is the truth that Niccolo Machiavelli pinned to the page 5 centuries ago, a truth that cuts through modern platitudes like a razor through silk. The man who is incapable of danger is not peaceful. He is simply prey, and prey is never respected. It is consumed. This is not a manifesto for cruelty. It is not an instruction manual for bullying or walking through the world with a chip on your shoulder. This is about something far more nuanced and infinitely more potent. By the time we are finished, you will comprehend what it means to hone a psychological edge, a blade kept in the sheath that protects you precisely because everyone knows it is sharp. You will see how the modern apparatus is designed to make you pliable, why your compliance is their profit, and how to reconstruct the formidable core that has been eroded from your spirit since you were a child. But a warning, this is not for everyone. If you cling to the belief that being nice will save you from the wolves, if you think good intentions are a shield against those who view you as a resource, then you should stop reading. But if there is a dormant alarm ringing in the back of your mind, a voice whispering, "I have been too soft for too long," then pay attention. Because the curriculum we are about to cover is not found in textbooks, is not celebrated in HR seminars, and will never be printed on an inspirational calendar. Let us begin. There was an era when a man was expected to carry a weapon, a sword, a dagger, a physical manifestation of his capacity to alter the world. This wasn't an endorsement of murder. It was a signal of agency. It was a visual shorthand that said, "I am a force to be reckoned with, and because I am dangerous, I offer you respect, and I demand it in return." Machiavelli wrote from the center of that reality. The Italian city-states of the Renaissance were snake pits of intrigue. Alliances were temporary. Betrayal was atmospheric. In that world, survival was not a passive activity. It required fangs. Machiavelli watched princes rise and crumble, not based on their morality, but on their willingness to be terrifying when the situation required it. He saw what polite society tries to obscure. That authority gravitates toward those who are perceived as capable of enforcing it. He famously noted that it is safer to be feared than loved. This is often misread as a call for tyranny. It is not. It is a recognition of human nature. Love is fickle. It is given and taken at the whim of the other. Fear, or rather deep, abiding respect for consequence, is durable. It depends on you, not them. Understand the distinction. The cruel man is weak. He is reactive. He hurts others because he cannot govern his own impulses. His violence is a tantrum. The dangerous man is different. He is possessed of a terrifying stillness. And it is that stillness that signals the depth of the ocean beneath. The Italians spoke of terribilità regarding Michelangelo, an awe-inspiring presence, a weight of character so immense that even kings stepped carefully around him. That is the currency we have inflated away. That is the inheritance this softened society has stolen from you. This theft was not accidental. The domestication of the human male is perhaps the most effective social engineering project in history. It started early. You were taught to share before you owned, to cooperate before you competed, to suppress the drive for dominance that kept your bloodline alive for 100,000 years. You were taught to wait for permission, to defer to the collective, to never make a scene. Conflict resolution became the con. Conflict mastery, the ability to stand in the fire without burning, was labeled toxic. You absorbed the lie that dangerous equals bad and safe equals good. By the time you were a man, the programming was hardwired. You believed that asserting yourself was aggression, that boundaries were unkind, that an unapologetic presence was threatening, and you were told that being threatening is the ultimate sin. But ask the cui bono question. Who benefits? Who gains when you are terrified of your own shadow? Who profits when your default setting is capitulation? Not you. The beneficiaries are those who wish to use you. Corporations that want obedient drones. Systems that want unquestioning compliance. People who want a partner they can mold. Machiavelli dissected this with cold precision. He knew that a man who deceives will always find those who let themselves be deceived. The softening of the population is a strategy of governance. A herd of harmless sheep is easy to herd, easy to shear, and easy to slaughter. Dangerous individuals are friction. They ask why. They say no. They cannot be shamed into silence. So the culture decided, we will make the capacity for danger taboo. And it worked. Look at the vocabulary of modern wellness. It is entirely focused on softening, vulnerability, openness, surrender. And yes, these things have value in intimacy, but vulnerability without the backing of power is not intimacy. It is exposure. It is blood in the water. The wolves of this world did not read the books on how to be vulnerable. They read the books on how to spot the limp. You were disarmed with the promise of safety. Now we must discuss rearmament. Here is the irony that the uninitiated fail to grasp. The most dangerous men are often the most peaceful. They do not posture. They do not start bar fights. They move with a fluid calm that unsettles people because it is unreadable. Insecurity is loud. Danger is quiet. Insecurity needs an audience. Danger is self-contained. When I speak of becoming dangerous, I am not talking about physical violence, though the capacity for it matters. I am talking about reclaiming the psychological steel that has been melted down by shame and conditioning. It is the ability to handle intensity, the willingness to walk away from a negotiation, a treaty, or a relationship that insults your worth. The refusal to be manipulated by social pressure or the weaponized guilt of others. Machiavelli observed that power is maintained not by the constant swing of the sword, but by the memory of the sword. He advised that while deception is useful, force must remain the ultimate backstop. Not used recklessly, but present, visible, felt. This is weight. Have you ever stood next to a man who said very little, yet you felt a distinct pressure to respect him? That is weight. It cannot be feigned. It comes from an internal alignment that says, I am willing. And right now I am choosing not to. The choice is the pivot point. A man who cannot strike is not peaceful. He is impotent. His peace is forced upon him by his inadequacy. But the man who can devastate and chooses grace, that man is virtuous, and the world smells the difference. We are evolved animals. Our nervous systems are ancient radar dishes tuned to detect threat. We read micro-expressions, posture, and pheromones long before our conscious brain forms a thought. We know the difference between a man acting tough and a man who is tough. Authenticity is the only thing that registers. You cannot fake this edge. The man who puffs his chest, who yells, who tries to dominate with volume, he is transparent. He is signaling his fear. But the man who is still, he is an unknown variable. And unknown variables terrify those who need to control the outcome. Machiavelli noted that men judge by the eye because everyone can see, but few can touch. If the perception is that you are dangerous, the reality of the interaction changes. The boundary is respected before you ever have to enforce it. This starts with a confrontation. You must ask yourself, what am I afraid to do that I know is necessary? Speaking truth to a superior, ending a toxic friendship, enforcing a boundary with a parent. The tension you feel in your gut, that is where your danger has been buried. Every time you retreat from that tension, you shovel more dirt onto your own grave. Every time you step into it, not with heat, but with cold resolve, you dig a piece of yourself out. The modern world does not just accept weakness, it fetishizes it. Victimhood is the new status symbol. The fragile are given the microphone. The strongest signal you can broadcast today is, I am hurt. Why? Because the victim is safe. The victim demands nothing but pity. The victim takes no responsibility. And most crucially, the victim is not a threat to the established order. Power structures love victims. They do not organize. They do not revolt. They wait for a savior. But look at the architects of history. They never identify as victims, even when they are victimized. They identify as agents of will. Machiavelli used coarse imagery to describe fortune, equating fate to a torrential river or a woman to be mastered. The metaphor is dated, but the principle is eternal. Life yields to those who act upon it. Fortune does not favor the hesitant. It favors the bold. The world is not your mother. It is not designed to nurture you. It is a forge designed to hammer you into a shape that serves others. If you remain soft, you are the raw metal. If you become dangerous, you become the hammer. There is a creature inside you that has been exiled, a primal self that knew what it wanted and took it. As a child, you had it. You screamed. You took up space. You were raw. Then you were civilized. You were told your fire was a hazard. So you banked the coals. You made yourself smaller, quieter, safer. And now you feel the gray exhaustion of a life lived at half volume. You wonder why you feel numb. It is because you cannot selectively numb your capacity for aggression without also numbing your capacity for passion. They come from the same tap. Carl Jung, who mapped the darkness of the psyche, said the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Why? Because it means accepting that you are capable of monstrosity. This is the integration of the shadow. The shadow is not evil. It is the repository of your forbidden power. Reclaiming it does not mean you become a villain. It means you become whole. A whole human has the capacity for both great nurture and great destruction. When you integrate that, your kindness stops being a weakness and starts being a gift. A rabbit is not good because it doesn't bite. It is just a rabbit. A lion that treats you gently, that is significant. Let's descend into the practical. How do you forge this quality? It is not about buying a leather jacket or taking up boxing, though martial capability is never a waste. It is about internal non-negotiables. You must have lines in the sand that are absolute, not society's laws, but your own canon. Most people are malleable. They will bend if the social heat is high enough. They will laugh at jokes they find offensive to fit in. They will agree with lies to avoid awkwardness. That makes them manageable. The dangerous man is unmanageable because his core is solid. Machiavelli warned that promises are necessities of the past, But broken words are necessities of the present. He knew most men are transactional. The dangerous man is not transactional about his principles. When he speaks, it is a binding contract. This creates a psychological certainty that others feel. They stop testing you because they realize the test will fail. It manifests in the body. Zanshin, the martial art concept of relaxed alertness. Not tension, which is fear, but readiness. The dangerous man occupies his body fully. He does not fidget. He does not rush his movements to accommodate the impatience of others. He takes up the space he requires. He holds the silence. Most people rush to fill a pause with nervous chatter because silence feels like a vacuum. The dangerous man lets the silence sit. He watches. He assesses. He speaks only when the thought is formed. This is the behavior of the predator, not the prey. And this is the uncomfortable analogy. In nature, the predator is not malicious. It is simply awake. It is focused. It is not scanning for who likes it. It is scanning for reality. Prey animals live in chronic, low-level anxiety, scanning for threats. Predators live in bursts of intense focus and long periods of deep rest. Modern society has turned you into prey. You are constantly anxious, constantly reacting to notifications, headlines, and social approval. You have lost the predator mind, the mind that moves with intention. Reclaiming this is not about hunting others. It is about refusing to be hunted. It is about realizing you are not here to be liked. You are here to be effective. Consider your voice. The dangerous voice is not shouted. It is dropped. It comes from the diaphragm, not the throat. It lacks the rising inflection of a question at the end of a statement. It eliminates the verbal tics, the ums and likes, that signal you are apologizing for taking up sonic space. Speak as if your words are expensive. Consider your eyes. The soft man looks away when challenged. He breaks contact to signal submission. The dangerous man holds. Not a stare down, which is aggression, but a gaze. A steady, calm observation that says, I see you and I am not intimidated by what I see. Consider the boundary. The dangerous man does not explain his boundary. He enforces it. When a line is crossed, he does not beg for respect. He acts. He withdraws his attention. He ends the interaction. Or he delivers a corrective statement with such flat finality that no debate is possible. That will not happen again. Simple, cold, true, but we must arrive at the ultimate synthesis. Danger without wisdom is just wreckage. Power without code is tyranny. Machiavelli is often caricatured as a teacher of evil, but he was a teacher of effectiveness. He knew that a prince who was purely cruel would be deposed. The goal is stability and strength. The truly dangerous man has not abandoned ethics. He has transcended the need for external policing of them. He acts correctly not because he fears the law, but because he has a code. But he knows that if the situation demands it, if he must protect his own, if he must stop a greater evil, he is capable of the necessary force. He does not freeze. He does not dither. He acts. This is the integrated shadow. You can be gentle because you are not afraid of your own violence. You can be patient because you have mastered your own rage. When you undergo this transformation, be prepared for the backlash. The world does not like it when a sheep grows fangs. People who benefited from your passivity will call you arrogant. They will say you have changed. They will try to guilt you back into your box. This is the tax you pay for freedom. Let them go. The dangerous man does not need relationships born of exploitation. He attracts new peers, those who respect the edge because they carry one themselves. Iron recognizes iron. So here is the crossroads. You have been systematically disarmed. You have been lulled into a sleep of comfort and compliance. But the fact that you are listening to this means the ember is not out. You have a choice. Go back to sleep. Be nice. Be safe. Be harmless. Or begin the work of reclamation. Stop apologizing. Stop shrinking. Stop prioritizing the comfort of others over your own integrity. It will be uncomfortable. It will feel risky. But the man on the other side of that risk, the integrated, formidable, dangerous man, is the only one who is truly alive. Machiavelli did not write for the tyrants. He wrote for those who needed to understand power to survive it. Knowledge is your armor. Now you know. You know why they want you soft. You know the cost of that softness is your soul. The soft man carries the burden of fear. The dangerous man carries the burden of responsibility. One is a cage, the other is a calling. Viktor Frankl found meaning in the deepest suffering because he had a why. Your why is the reclamation of your sovereignty. The peace you were promised through submission was a lie. It brought you only anxiety. True peace is found on the other side of your capacity for danger. It is the peace of the sentry who knows his rifle is clean and his aim is true. The soft world will keep softening. Let it rot. You have work to do. You were always capable of this. You simply need to give yourself permission to be what you are. The fire is waiting. Dig it up. If this message resonates in a place that polite society rarely touches, know that this is merely the surface. There are depths to this philosophy, darker mechanics of influence and psychology that cannot be broadcast on the open web. The algorithm suppresses the truly transformative. If you are ready for the unfiltered dissection of power, for what I call the architect level, it lies behind the join button. Most people will not click it. They are not ready, but you are not most people.